Even as an Empire main, I have to say it is an absolute pleasure to watch someone who is more skilled than I am use them to great effect, and today we're going to watch Falcon put an absolute clinic on this Beastman player here, although this Beastman player is not going to go down without a significant fight. So strap yourselves in, grab your favorite snack, beverage, or other consumable, and get ready for some fun, because Carl Franz is leading the way. We've got 4 Grenade Outriders, so already Falcon setting himself up for a high micro game. These are very squishy but very impactful units. Of course, we've also got some Reichsguard to back them up, plenty of Spearmen, a Rogue Greatsword here, nicely buffed up, and Lore of Life on the Jade Wizard. 4 Beastmen, a nice wide build in response, Morgar, the Shadow Gave, Butchers of Kalkengard, some Razorgore herds. We've got Minotaurs with great weapons, more Razorgore herds here, Centaurs out on the far side, and some more here on the near hill. And then some Ungor Raiders with a Lore of Beasts, Bray Shaman on a chariot. Yeah, let's get things rolling here. The Ungor front line will immediately start to get exploded by those Grenade Outriders. Carl's also going to hit a quick charge here to tear out some of those units, but Beastmen, like I said, not going to go down without a fight. They're already countercharging in here. Falcon's a little bit late with these Reichsguard, does not get a charge off, is actually going to get charged somewhat. He does get a countercharge at the last second with that one Reichsguard, and with the spear support, they should be able to hold out okay. Nice little wheel around and collapse on this great weapon Minotaur that gets exposed without the support. The supporting Ungors having been immediately blasted by those Grenade Outriders, but the Centaurs collapse from the high ground. They should trade pretty well in that nice downhill charge against those Reichsguard. Let's see where this other unit lands. Meanwhile, on the other side, these other 2 getting a nice flanking position as well. Falcon shoring up defenses with the Spearmen, trying to protect the Grenade Outriders, who are definitely putting some serious hurt into the Beastman army, but the Ungor Raiders are also within range to start counter-shooting here, and certainly can output enough damage to be threatening to the Outriders. Falcon's keeping them nice and tight and protected for the time being, but he's going to start to spread them out a little bit here as more threats kind of develop. But yeah, Morgar gets in there in the center. Carl's going to dive in with the Minotaurs. Butchers of Kalkengard fighting in here. They're going to be more than a match for some low-tier spears. Great swords. And the Grenade Outriders are going to be forced out of position once again. The Centaurs are definitely taking some losses, but as are the Reichsguard. Definitely taking some significant damage here. We've got some Chaos Spawn summoned up from Morgar to help fight it out in the center. And then this flank attack here with the Destroyers of Drakewald, Ungor Spearmen. Been able to shut down a couple of spear units and start to kind of threaten this backline. But the Grenade Outriders kind of moved up in space. They do have some spear support here, but there's a lot of Beastmen returning from route, angry at having been exploded by the grenades. So we're going to see them charge on in. Minotaurs will get in with their great weapons here and definitely do some damage, even though the grenades are doing their best to keep those units routed away purely with their missile damage. They are still going to take some losses here. Also in the center, Carl manages to escape. Morgar and these other units are then going to kind of explode outwards and try and defeat some of these Reichsguard, perhaps, but we'll see. Now, balance power is pretty much dead even, and some of these Empire units, as they get a little bit far forward, a little bit overexposed, the Beastmen returning from route will punish them pretty heavily and start to clean some of them up. Looks like the Jade Wizard also got tangled up in that fight there, took a bunch of damage, but of course can heal himself and others, so should be able to do just fine. Butchers of Kalkengard also get a little bit overexposed, pursuing these Reichsguard. Get matched up against multiple units, plus Carl on the rear charge. That will be a lot for these Minotaurs to deal with, even Regiment of Renown as they are. Going to be finished nearly to the last cow here, down to 10 unit models and still dropping, although they do manage to terrify away those Spearmen. A bit of friendly fire from the grenade launchers. Spawn Summon's just about to run out, but the Bray Shaman and Morgar both have a decent amount of HP left, but a lot of Reichsguard still. Centaurs are finally able to get in contact with some of these Grenade Outriders and actually start to decisively defeat them, though. And yeah, even over here, like on this far side, Centaurs just barely hold their leadership, get into those Grenade Outriders, and have enough unit models to take the unit out. Grenade Outriders, very low HP, very squishy unit overall. Going to be quite vulnerable to even a weakened Centaur unit like this. You can see multiple grenades now getting kind of cleaned up, and some of these Spearmen are in a dangerous position where they might be kited out by the Ungor Raiders. But of course, a lot of this is going to come down to this character fight here, so let's zoom back over to Karl and the Reiksguard, finishing off the Butchers of Kalkengard once and for all. And then isolating Morgher for Karl to move in and destroy. Bray Shaman, of course, on his chariot as well, will be a great target for Karl to take out. With the loss of leadership, that'll significantly set the Beastmen back against the terror of Karl. Not to mention, yeah, most of their units at this point have pretty much evaporated. They've still got a handful of Ungor Raiders here, protected by some Razorgore herds and other Ungors, but with Morgher now decisively losing leadership, that's going to quickly lead to army losses, and it will be a victory for Felcon. So a relatively short game, but very much kind of all over the field there, and some really nice a couple of mistakes even by Felcon, showing he is indeed human. But yeah, beautiful Outrider play. Managed to protect them long enough for them to get a really nice amount of value. The Reiksguard as well, nice to see them perform quite well. The really nice kind of Swiss Army knife cavalry deployed against a multitude of different threats and performing reasonably well against pretty much all of them. Karl also is very good here with the support and the terror and the massive damage. Great swords do manage to pay for themselves, although they get turned into spawn, looks like, and just die to a man, but still quite an impressive performance at the end of the day. Morgher, I mean, he does get this value of the spawn summons, which we don't see, but he's definitely not a damage output lord by any means. Definitely can tank out damage fairly well, and he did so to a degree here. The Bray Shaman also got some pretty nice value on some casts. The Centaurs, despite at the end of the day, they were able to land on a couple of those Outriders and shut them down. They weren't able to quite quickly enough. Felcon was able to protect them for long enough that it was fairly decisive. The rest of the Ungors paid a severe price as a result, but definitely a fun one. Absolutely a very fun battle, and a classic fun matchup as well. I mean, certainly Griffins have been good for a long time in this matchup. The Outriders is one that's extremely risky, and I probably wouldn't try it myself because I don't have the micro to make it work effectively. But Felcon here making it work quite well, and kind of building around like all the spears in the Reiksguard's job primarily is just to support and protect the Outriders, right? So it's definitely an interesting one to kind of think about this matchup a little bit. I mean, can definitely go a number of different ways. The one thing I would say for Beastmen that most Beastmen players should remember is this unit right here. Centaur's great weapons, in my experience, trade well into pretty much all Empire cavalry, including Reiksguard, but in particular, they'll just beat Empire Knights for basically the same cost, just decisively, especially if they're not taking the charge directly. So, yeah, you know, in that matchup, I would probably say go with, you know, like 4 of these guys to start with, and then kind of build from there. But even over something like Minotaurs, Razorgores are also pretty good, especially something like this. It gives you a lot of armor-piercing mobility to try and punish Empire Cavalry, which in my view is one of the main threats in this matchup. But let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.